Yesterday, I told you that a Texas grand jury opted not to indict Planned Parenthood, but instead indicted the makers of those supposed baby parts videos. And the concept was that Planned Parenthood was selling baby parts and negotiating prices for a baby arm or a baby leg. And the two people involved, David Dalladin and Sandra Merritt, have been indicted on multiple felony charges. Now, we've talked about Carly Fiorina, right? Carly Fiorina, the Republican presidential candidate, has gotten a crazy amount of mileage out of taking these, talking about these videos, in spite of all the evidence that points to them being totally bogus. She has now gone completely off the rails, Lewis. She went on right-wing Hugh Hewitt's show to talk about all this, and she was just absolutely outraged, not about the fact that these two people tricked her into falling for fake videos and making all sorts of bogus claims on national interviews. No, she's mad still that Planned Parenthood was not indicted. Let's take a look.
But nevertheless, today's breaking news is right in your alleyway. Convened to investigate Planned Parenthood's trade in baby parts, a grand jury in Houston today, instead of indicting Planned Parenthood, indicted two anti-abortion activists who made the videos.
Right.
Your reaction?
Yeah. Well, this is why it's a fight. This is why it's a fight for the character of our nation. I mean, we know for a fact, because of Planned Parenthood's own announcement, that they would no longer accept payment for what they call fetal tissue, that they were, in fact, trafficking in baby body parts.
Ugh.
So, guess what? I'm not going to sit down and be quiet. As I said at the March for Life in Washington, D.C. on Friday before the snowstorm descended, I will not sit down and be quiet. I know the value of life. We know what's going on, and I will continue to stand for the character of this nation.
So accepting payment for fetal tissue is a very specific action, both legally and sort of conceptually. And it is not negotiating prices for baby body parts. That is just not what it is. And Carly Fiorina doesn't care. She's sticking with it. Let's go to the next clip, Lewis.
And so is it your position that the indictment of the filmmakers in no way goes to the efficacy of what they produced?
Here's what I know.
Please.
Planned Parenthood has been trafficking in body parts. Planned Parenthood has been altering late-term abortion techniques for the specific purpose of harvesting body parts. In a President Fiorina budget, there will not be a single dime for Planned Parenthood.
The other thing there will never be is a Carly Fiorina budget, because she has absolutely no chance of being the Republican nominee, never mind the next president of the United States. Carly Fiorina is not the only Republican candidate who is completely immune to reality. Marco Rubio, a couple of days ago, told CNN that he is, quote, disturbed because Planned Parenthood, quote, who are the ones that were actually selling off these body parts, were found having nothing wrong. The people who tried to expose them are the ones that are now facing criminal charges. Mike Huckabee, when news broke of this, called it, quote, a sick day in America, because those who expose evil with a cell phone are being punished. And then we also heard from Ben Carson's campaign, which promised, quote, retribution against Planned Parenthood. Nothing better than revenge politics, Lewis, when no wrongdoing has been found.
Yes, this indictment is not going to convince anyone who was already furious with Planned Parenthood.
Lewis, the indictment is part of the conspiracy, right, to prop up Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, that's what some of them will say.
Yeah.
Fiorina is drinking the Kool-Aid.
Multiple state investigations have found no wrongdoing. No wrongdoing by Planned Parenthood has been determined at the federal level. Is, though, and this may be, if we want to try to find sort of a silver lining here, is abortion, like gay marriage, going in the direction of not being a good wedge issue for Republicans at this point? I mean, but some of them are still talking about gay marriage. The most extreme ones, you've got Huckabee still talks about gay marriage, etc. But it seems that most reasonable Republicans are sort of coming around on the fact that gay marriage is basically a done deal. It's not even really a good thing for us to talk about or to try to raise money on, other than in very, very religious conservative communities. We see when we look at polling on abortion that support for abortion being a legal medical procedure is higher than ever. And since Roe v. Wade, maybe abortion is going in the same direction. Is that the silver lining here?
I think the discussion has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it went from issues like this to what did Trump say now? So I don't think it'll be really a huge issue during the general election.
Do you know people personally who are against abortion in principle?
I think I do. I mean, I think we both know some of those people, right?
Are they against it for religious reasons or for non-religious reasons, to the best of your knowledge?
It's hard to say, because I feel that at the root of it, there's some type of religiosity, but they might not say that it's Bible rooted or anything like that. So I'm not sure.
I don't know that. I mean, I'd be curious who you're thinking of. You can tell me later. I don't know that I know people who are against abortion in principle. I know many people now, women, who say, listen, I have no problem with abortion as a procedure. And right now, I'm not trying to be pregnant. But at this point in my life, if I were to get pregnant, I wouldn't have an abortion. I mean, I'm at a point in my life where while I might not be looking to have a child right now, if it were to happen, I would not get an abortion. So, and that's not being against abortion in principle, right? That's just saying at this point,
Right.
I wouldn't get one. I don't actually know anyone personally for sure that I know has a religious objection to abortion and these sort of, I mean, of course, look at where we live, but the nationwide statistics seem to bear that out as well. We're not going to convince Carly Fiorina about this, and the indictment only serves to fuel her harebrained conspiracies. Gamefly is sort of like Netflix for video games. They have over 8,000 new and classic games for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, Wii, and a bunch of other platforms. And you can play as many games as you want for one monthly fee. And if you find some games you want to keep, you can buy them for a low used price. There's never any due dates or late fees. And our audience can get a free 30-day trial at gameflyoffer.com/TDPS. The games are shipped directly to you with return envelopes included. There's no contracts, and you can rent games through the mobile app. Get the free 30-day trial for the David Pakman Show audience and support our show by going to gameflyoffer.com/TDPS.